Alright guys, the Michael Myers Fanatic back with another video, and I'm going to be discussing Halloween Ends. Yes, I know I said that was going to be my last video before the movie came out, but after hearing some of these crazy rumors, I had to come back and address them. But before we get into that, let's read the premise one more time by Universal Pictures, right? This is the premise. 4 years after the events of last year's Halloween Kills, Laurie is living with her granddaughter, Allison, and finishing writing her memoir. Michael Myers hasn't been seen since his last brutal rampage. Laurie, after allowing the specter of Michael to determine and drive her reality for decades, has decided to liberate herself from fear and rage and embrace life. But when a young man, Corey Cunningham, is accused of killing a boy he was babysitting, it ignites a cascade of violence and terror that will force Laurie to finally confront the evil she can't control once and for all. Okay, let's break this down here before we even get into that other stuff. It said finally, right? Finally confront the evil. Let's highlight that word. Finally. There it is. Because I want you all to see this. Finally. That sounds familiar. That sounds really familiar. Hold on one second. Where did I get that from? Where did I see that word before? Finally, or which is really, it's an extension of the word final. So let's look that up, shall we? Hold on one second. Because we need to look that word up. See if I can find that. Oh yeah, there it is right there. I thought so. They said that she will finally confront the evil. What does it say right here? Jamie Lee Curtis returns to her iconic role as Laurie Strode, who comes to her final confrontation with Michael. That's what it says for Halloween 2018. How many final confrontations is Laurie gonna have? This is really getting annoying. At least when Mustafa Akkad did it, it was cool, but this is just annoying. Now, let's look up the word final. Let's define that word. Because, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I don't know what it means. Give me the definition of the word finally.
According to Merriam-Webster, definition of finally,
time.
1. After a prolonged time, at the end of period of time 2 hours later, the train finally arrived. He finally got around to calling. I'm so happy to finally meet you.
Yeah, you see this? After a prolonged time. It means it eventually happens. Let's make the definition less ambiguous. At the final point or moment, in the end, in a final manner, conclusively or decisively. Here's the last definition. At last. What did I just say? Eventually. That's what the word means. Eventually. It means it will eventually happen. After a considerable delay. So how can you call it final when it happened 2 more times? Then it's not final. And the only reason it's actually final this time is because Blumhouse is losing the rights. Now let's talk about these crazy rumors. Right? So I heard a rumor that Michael Myers isn't even going to be in most of the movie. That this guy, Corey, finds Michael's mask and goes on a killing rampage. This is why it makes no sense to begin with, because like Everyday Horror said, first of all, Michael Myers should have been killed on the spot. I don't even know how he's still alive. And you're going to say, well, he went into hiding. He went into hiding for years. He should have been killed in Halloween Kills. He should have been killed right then and there. But was he killed? No, because of script convenience. Now, I will admit, they've done it in the other movies, but again, it was cooler when they did it. He shouldn't even be alive. Period. Because he's human, remember? He's human. So how is he even alive? In 1 through 8, he wasn't human. So at least they could get away with it, but they made it perfectly clear that Michael was human in this trilogy. You see, what they've done here, they've painted themselves into a corner. They've talked themselves into a corner. They're just like AEW. AEW are the new kids on the block, the new players in town in the wrestling game. And what does AEW do? They come in looking all flashy, talking a bunch of shit about the competition. And for a while, AEW seems to be doing well. AEW seems to be a legit competition for WWE. But then, after a while, everybody discovers that AEW is nothing but flash. AEW is nothing but sizzle and no steak. That's what this is. These guys were the new players in town. That's what and who they were. They came in talking shit about 1 through 8. And then what did we find out? All sizzle and no steak. First of all, how the fuck did the guy even get Michael's mask? That's the first thing. How did you even get near Michael without him killing you? That's what I would want to ask. How did that even happen? And then another rumor I heard is that the real Michael Myers shows up and kills fake Michael and takes his mask back. And then Allison helps Laurie defeat Michael. The fuck do you mean she helps? She helps? She helps Laurie defeat Michael? I mean, they say this shit like she's coming over to do a small favor for Laurie. What do you mean she helps? You say this shit like she's coming over to help her grandmother move a sofa. Oh, I'll help you defeat Michael. I mean, what was going on? Was Laurie and Michael in the apartment fighting each other? And then maybe Allison knocks on the door? And she comes in there, Grandmother, what are you doing? What are you doing, Grandmother? And then Laurie says, Allison, I need your help. I need help fighting Michael. Get me that shotgun over there. And get me that container of Activia. And then Allison says, right away, Grandmother. Here's your shotgun and your Activia. What do you mean she helps her? Like she's moving a fucking sofa. It just sounds so stupid. She helps her? Like I said, how the fuck did the boy even get his hands on Michael's mask? Can you explain that? No, you can't. because you're all sizzle and no steak, like AEW is with WWE. But like I always say, I never completely close the door on anything. I always leave the door open. And so if I'm wrong and the movie ends up being good, I'll come right back and apologize. I'll say that. Alright guys, I'm the Michael Myers fanatic and I approve this message. Please be sure to follow me on all forms of social media at the Myers Fan 25 and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. Thank you for watching.